Hello everyone, I'm Frenzyingmisfit, and for today's video I'm going to be covering Trinity and the Helminth system. Now, some things to note: Trinity has 3 damage reductions in her kit, one of which is thanks to the Helminth system. She has infinite health, shield, and energy sustain. She can defense strip, and she can immune herself from stagger effects. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is her defense strip. So if you cast her 3, the 3 closest enemies to you will be targeted. If you move away from said enemies towards closer enemies, then those enemies will be targeted. That will be how you switch up her defense reduction. But you can see these 3 enemies are struck with it. So if I shoot them, it will just target the next 3 enemies. And if I want these 2 enemies to be targeted, I just move closer to them. And you see now when I move close, the enemies on the side were taken off. So pretty simple, straightforward. Now, if you notice towards the end, I actually got hit with a stagger effect. So I'm going to show you how the stagger effect works now. So if you are linked to enemies, you will not take stagger as long as you are still linked to enemies. You will not roll back, nothing. But the moment that there's no enemies left, she will be hit by the stagger effect. This works the same for every weapon that I've ever tested. If you're linked to enemies, you don't take stagger. If you're not linked to enemies, you do take stagger. Now, I'm going to respawn these enemies in to show you her energy sustain. And before I show you the energy sustain, her health sustain, if you pop her 4th ability, no matter what health or shield anybody nearby you is at, instantly they will get max. And her 4th is a damage reduction, her 3 is a damage reduction, and her 1 is a damage reduction. So that's 3 75% damage reductions, one of which you have to be in the dark, which is the Eclipse. Now, how you do the infinite energy sustain is simple. You cast her 2, and then you kill the enemy. So I'm going to use a baiting link so that I strip them, and I'm going to use the 2, and now if I kill this enemy, I'll just get all the energy. It's really that simple. You don't have to wait the whole duration of 16 seconds, in my case. All you have to do is kill the enemy. So, I'm going to be using all these tricks and a couple more in the video. And now we're straight on to the next part. Okay, now we're on to the next part of the video, the build. Now, as I stated in my previous video, I do not show people my builds with the intent for people to just copy and paste. I like to see people introduce their own things, but I do show this for a frame of reference. Now, in this build, in order to get a baiting link to 100% strip, what I needed to do is have 223% strength. So that's what I did. 223% strength is all I needed for a baiting link. That allows me to have the defense reduction that I need, and then Eclipse, Link, and Blessing, you can see all give their damage reductions of 75%. Now, the only other thing to note is the energy that you get is going to be based on your strength. So if you increase the strength more, you'd get more energy. But I don't see the need of increasing my strength past this point, because it already is enough for me to sustain my energy, health, shield. I can do every ability and then cast my abilities again. So even with a 75% efficiency, which makes my abilities cost a lot more, it's not hard for me to do. I have Steel Charge on here. Would put something that would help out the team more. If I was running with a squad, I'd probably run Power Donation. Then that would mean I would need less strength. Same kind of thing works with Zaku. If you need a high strength to get that strip, running something like Power Donation where everybody does it, getting that 60% buff really does help. I ran Arcane Strike for simplicity. I don't like throwing a lot of attack speed on my melee, preference. Grace, honestly, just for the quality of life. As you can see, I'm running Adaptation instead of something like Rolling Guard, because she can use the shield gating mechanic to her benefit. So the only things that are really going to be pressuring are things like Slash procs, Toxin procs, anything that, you know, could go for my health. Now, all 3 of my weapons are viral. They're viral for the fact that I'm using Trinity, and viral damage works when they don't have any armor. So you can see I just went for viral damage, nothing too crazy. I could have thrown on a Riven if I wanted to, but there's not really a point. You just really need the viral damage. It's quality of life, so speed trigger just so I could shoot faster. I could kind of treat it like a full auto bow. I'm running the Spore Lacer, and as you can see, it's the same thing. Viral damage. I went for a little bit of crit here because I like the weapon. Arcanes aren't needed. I'm running secondary dexterity, but you could run whatever. They really don't change up the content too much because all you're really aiming for is the viral damage. Again, everything else is just quality of life. And then here you can see this is going to be the melee weapon I'm running with to coincide with Naramon. I don't have a lot of sustain when it comes to combo duration, so I'm running the Naramon tree. And yeah, that was the build part of the video. Now these next clips are going to be in a survival that I ran actually when the hotfix was coming for Trinitys and the Plague Star event. So you might see some pop-ups about that. I do apologize. But you're going to see how I use it and why I use Trinity and I Helminth Mirage ability called the clips. So yeah, straight into the next part of the video.
Additional life support has arrived. The longer you fight, the more successful we will be. Is ready to be collected. Modification successful. Collecting Kuba. Another life support capsule is now available. Modification successful. Collecting Kuba. Harvesting capsule has been destroyed. Another life support capsule is now available. This capsule will now harvest Kuba.
On that note, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.